I'm going to show you guys situation. Still working on our little sleeves, solid surface backsplash that's 1.25 inches deep. So obviously we have to use our extension sleeves, our 1.5 inch extension sleeves to be able to extend our electrical box, because our electrical box is all the way back in there, really far. So this is just a standard outlet going in here. I'm going to show you this setup as if we were to forget our sleeve or have to install them after the fact. So in this scenario, I'm just going to show you the easier of the scenarios. Pull out our wires here. These are just our standard outlets. Now obviously our ground wire is a bit short, but it is long enough for our purposes. Yes, we could extend it if we wanted to. Now I talk about check and verify all the time. Non-contact tester is very helpful for that. Being able to make sure, and we know, I already know the breaker's off, the GFCI is not reset. I know that power is off, but I am verifying that power is indeed off. Not the best tool to trust your life with, but it is an appropriate tool to use on a regular basis for verifying after you know with confidence that power is off. That being said, even if we express confidence with power being off, sometimes we miss things and power is still on. Sometimes things are backfed and we have two breakers controlling things because somebody messed up and miswired something. Any variety of possibilities could happen. So that being said, we're installing a standard outlet here. So now that power is verified to be off, I can pull that off and you can see our original person who wired this up. They left nice extra long length of exposed wire there. So we're going to trim that up, but let me grab our standard outlet real quick. Another little pet peeve of mine is that when you have your terminals that are not used, go ahead and drive them in. Takes an extra, what, 2 seconds? Took me 2 seconds to be able to do that. But it helps minimize the probability of something making contact with that. It's all about probability. Is the probability high that something will contact that? No, but it's not zero. So let's put that down there. Now this guy, we only really need about 1 inch of exposed copper to make a good hook and screw setup. So I'm going to trim this back. This is about almost like 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. Yeah, it's closer to 1 inch. Well, the neutral's like 1.5 inches. So we're going to trim that back right about there. Yeah, that's close enough. So in this scenario, we are now going to hook that. Make sure that hook is nice and appropriately sized. Same thing, we're going to curl the other side the opposite direction, lining that up. This is already hooked for our ground wire. A little bit short, but it'll be okay. Now, because yes, it's the best habit to do your ground first, your neutral second, and your hot last. That's a good habit. Obviously, I'm going to kind of break my habit here because my longer wires are my neutral and my hot wires. So I'm actually going to reverse that pattern. So more of a do as I say, don't do as I do. But it's also the thing of when you have verified that power is indeed off, it doesn't truly make a difference. But if there's any chance of power being energized, you want to make sure that you are not accidentally making a snake in the grass scenario of putting power to something that's looking to complete the loop, complete the circuit, but it doesn't have a path yet until you hook up the neutral and it sparks. Now, so we got those guys in. We're going to tuck these in a little bit to be able to get our ground landed on here as well. So got our ground going on there. A little bit tight, but that's okay. Right there. And then we'll get this screwed in like so.
Hey guys, it's V with Electrician Training Ground. Are you a handyman? Are you a homeowner? Are you an apprentice? Are you just somebody that's thinking about what would electrical trade look like? Join us over at the Skool community I'll give you a link down in the description, and join us in the discussion. Join us with some of the courses. Some will be free, some will be paid, but be a part of learning what it means to do electrical work. It's not as complicated as a lot of people think it is. Yeah, there's a little bit of danger involved with it and working with live electrical systems, but we want to be able to teach and train you guys of how to do things safely, how to do things appropriately, but also for you to be armed with the knowledge to understand how to work with things safely. So thank you and God bless. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Now, as I told you guys, I was going to show you guys what to do once you install the outlet, or after the fact when you need to install a sleeve. Now, obviously, you can't just straight put this on. It just doesn't fit. Most appropriate thing to do, go ahead and remove your short screws, because if you're installing a sleeve, it's typically because you need longer screws. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. Sometimes they come out easy like that bottom one did. Sometimes you need some assistance to be able to pull it out. Get rid of the little plastic retainers. Now in this case, same thing, won't go just straight on. You want to slip it over the top or the bottom. It doesn't really make a difference which side. And obviously even still now, it doesn't really want to go through. You have to kind of flatten out the outlet, so you kind of have to do something like that to be able to make it to where this sleeve can now slip on. Obviously, I've done this a few times, but you can kind of see, and if you really want to be particular, there's certain print on here. You can make the print up and down if you really want to be, retentive for that, but that's a preference. Now that this is on, you can slip the sleeve on and off. Now that we have it on, you can then straighten up the outlet to be able to then appropriately set it in the extension sleeve. Now the extension sleeve is not going to slide off. It is in place. It is ready for the mounting screws and to be put into place. So we're going to kind of cinch that in, train the wires, pressure that in there. Let's grab our long screws. Once again, we have our extra long screws here, 3-inch screws, but we're going to line them up with the boxes here. We're going to get those situated in place. Bottom is in, top is in, just a little hand tighten there. And because it's a little bit more than 1 inch in length, I'm going to use handy dandy powered screwdriver, impact, all that stuff to get this to land in here. So we're going to get that started. Now I'm not blasting it and going full speed ahead, but I'm going at a reasonable pace, I guess you could say. And I am stopping before it over tightens. Set that off to the side, and then I follow up with our lovely hand screwdriver that if you had to do all those turns by hand, it would hurt after doing multiple outlets. So that's the thing. Ergonomics is a thing. It's always good to pay attention to ergonomics rather than just forcing yourself to do things that hurt yourself and puts you out of work or something like that. Like, be appropriate. All right, so I'm going to center that up in the opening. We're going to snug this down like that. Snug it down like so. And then we're going to do the wiggle test. Make sure you wiggle it from side to side. And if it doesn't move at this point, you know that it is nice and snug. Give that a little turn there. Yep, and there you go. So if you run into a scenario where you need to install an extension sleeve after the fact and you obviously forgot to install it or something like that, you can easily install it by just tipping the outlet down, making it flat with the wires as best as possible, slip the sleeve on, and then straighten everything back up and tuck everything back in.